Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Elise's Eats, and today we are going to be making shortcrust pastry, which can be used for quiches, pies, tarts, anything you can really use your imagination for. So let's get started. So what you're going to need is 1.5 cups of plain flour, 1 egg yolk, 1 tablespoon or more if you need it of cold water, 120 grams of cold unsalted butter, so take it straight out of the fridge when you're going to use it, and then either some dry rice or dry beans for cooking the pastry. So this is really easy because what we just have to do is put the flour and butter in a food processor, whiz it around until it resembles breadcrumbs, then we add the egg yolk and the water. That's it. If you don't have a food processor, what you can do is just grab the squares of butter and with your hands just rub it into the flour until it resembles breadcrumbs. I highly recommend doing it rubbing the butter in, because if you use an electric beater, it won't actually incorporate the butter in and make a crumbly base. It will just make kind of a big dough ball with odd amounts of butter. So either do it in the food processor or rubbing your fingers. So that's about what you're looking for. It should feel nice and crumbly, like breadcrumbs. At this point, add the egg yolk and the water. And carefully remove the blades from your food processor. Be careful because they are extremely sharp. Don't touch them! If you weren't using a food processor, you would just add the egg and the water and stir it together as well until you get the breadcrumb consistency. And now what we're going to do is, with a little bit of extra flour, put it on the bench and then roll it out into a bowl. Okay, this would be at the point where you need some more water. When rolling it out, it should easily form a bowl. If it doesn't, then you just have to add a little bit of water. So I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of water to my dough and then form it into a bowl. Now, do you see how mine's still crumbly? I'm going to add a little bit more water, so another half a teaspoon. That's about the consistency you're looking for. It should crack slightly easy, but should still hold together. Now we're going to just put it in some cling wrap and put it in the fridge for about 15-20 minutes, just so that the butter hardens again. Because if you were to bake this now, the pastry would lose its shape and would not be as nice. So on a lightly floured surface, take the dough out of the fridge, which has been in for about 15 minutes, and we're going to roll it out to about 1/2 centimetre thick. Then we're going to place it in our 25 centimetre quiche tin. Now, when you first start rolling it out, it's going to be very crumbly. Don't worry, just push it back together and keep rolling it out. See all the crumbliness? That's all the delicious butter. Don't worry if it does that, you just bring it back together and then continue to roll it out. Don't worry if it crumbles apart at the beginning. It should start to form a nicer dough like this. If you're in a hotter room, it's more likely to crumble, so maybe do it with air conditioning. Okay, once you've rolled your dough out into about a circle, you're going to lift it carefully and place it into our tin. And don't worry if the dough crumbles or breaks apart. You can easily fix it by pressing it in the pan. Now push the pastry up against the sides of the tin. And don't worry if it crumbles, just push it all together. Now I put the removable bottom under the dough as I was rolling it out, I forgot to mention. But just push everything down and then we're going to put it back in the fridge for 5 minutes. Now before we put it in the oven, what we're going to do, we're going to put some holes in the bottom of the base just so it aerates the pastry and gets all crispy and delicious. And then with some baking paper, we're just going to place it on top and then fill it with uncooked rice to blind bake it. Now blind baking is just to make sure that the pastry doesn't go soggy when you have the filling in it. We're going to bake this in the oven at 190 degrees for about 15 or so minutes until the pastry gets nice and cooked through. And we're using just dry rice instead of baking beads. You can use them if you want to, but yeah. So our pie tin was in for about 18 minutes, and when it's finished, just take away the rice in the paper and then let it cool, and then use it to make quiches, tarts, or anything like that. Show you what it looks like. It just looks like a pie crust. Oh, magic! I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully you use this as your base for shortcrust pastry as well. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If there's anything you want me to cook for you next time, just comment in the section below, and I'll see you next time.